Hey everyone, Alan from GameGrooves here, and I want to take a few minutes to explain some of the recent things that have been going on. So for those who don't know, I posted a tweet yesterday saying, if you have a few dollars to spare, GameGrooves could really use the help. And before anyone panics, I want to assure everybody that I'm fine, GameGrooves is fine, but for those who don't know, GameGrooves it is an LLC that I created 2 years ago, but it's also a lot of times coming out of my pocket, Alan's pocket, right? So if I don't have the money to make up for whatever, an album, let's say, that I'm putting my own money into it, right? And before I get any further, I just want to say thank you to all the people who responded to that tweet by donating, or by sharing that post, or by saying some very kind words about GameGrooves. I really, truly appreciate each and every one of you. And if you donated, I'm going to be sending personal thanks as well. But, so, yeah, let's establish that. GameGrooves is an LLC that I created 2 years ago. But a lot of the time, I'm putting my own personal money into it as well. So you've got the business side of things, and then you've got the personal side of things. Well, this year, 2023, is going to be really important for GameGrooves because it is kind of a make or break moment, in the sense that the IRS requires businesses to turn a profit 3 out of the past 5 years, right? So for the last 2 years, GameGrooves has been operating at a loss, which means that we spend more money on our projects than we bring in, which is pretty normal for business. This year, we have to turn a profit, which means we have to bring in more money than we spend. Otherwise, the IRS will look at GameGrooves and say, this is not a business, this is a hobby, and then I will be required, I won't be able to deduct, let's say album or mastering costs as a business expense. And what that means is that I won't be able to do as many albums, in a year as I normally would. So for this year, we're looking at 6 or 7 albums. We might have to go down to 3 or 4. It's not the end of the world, of course. GameGrooves will continue no matter what, but it does affect what we're able to do and the kinds of projects we're able to tackle. And obviously, I want to do everything I can to try and break even, essentially, this year. So that, what does that mean? Why did I post this tweet now in March? Well, recently I've had a lot of personal expenses that have come up, taxes being a big one. We owed about twice as much this year as we did last year. So that's that personal money, like I said. And I just had some things coming up for GameGrooves. We have a couple really cool projects coming out that I needed some help with, and I was a little bit stressed about where the money was going to come from. So I put out that tweet, and thanks to you all, things are looking really good for the near term. It really, truly helped me. So that being said, I didn't want anyone to panic. That's why I was vague about it. I didn't want to come off as, whiny or something like that. But, I know this community the VGM community and the GameGrooves community is super supportive. And I just thought if I put out a word that people might respond, and they did. And it really, truly helped. So thank you. But in the meantime, long term, what does that mean for this whole year? That means that, if you can share music, if you can purchase music, obviously it's helpful. Word of mouth goes a super long way. And I am doing my part. I'm learning a lot about music marketing, and I'm, studying as much as I can to try and figure out how to turn this GameGrooves thing into somewhat of a business, learning how to market things. Marketing is really one of the hardest things that I have to deal with, right? I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't want to do, for good reason, because it's just nebulous and it's tricky and it's always changing. I feel pretty confident in my ability to organize a community album, and I think that the music that we're putting out is a pretty high quality now. I'm happy with the music that we're putting out, but there are a lot of times, I'm sure many of you can understand and empathize, where it's like we put out something and it's like, I thought that was going to do better, but why is it not picking up like this other thing? So instead of just shrugging and saying, oh, I want to really understand, how can I do everything in my power to make sure that what we're putting out there gets heard by as many people as possible, right? I don't really want to change the music to try and market it, but I want to find a way to better connect with people and better find those audiences, untapped audiences, so to speak. Like, for instance, with our Scario Card album, that album did really, really well in large part to the fact that we collaborated with the ska community. So I want to look for future partnerships like that, like where we can have crossover between video game music and other music communities. But anyways, so that's a little bit longer explanation. There's no emergency happening. There's no health emergency. It's more just things have been adding up lately as far as expenses go, personal expenses. On top of that, taxes. On top of that, we have a lot of things coming out. So that's the good news, is we have a lot of cool things coming out soon, and stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I would highly recommend, to end on a positive note, I would highly recommend you check out the new game Chia from Awaseb. I don't know if that's the way you pronounce the game developer company, but anyways, Chia, check it out. It's on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and Epic Game Store. And if you can't afford to check out the game, check out the soundtrack at least by John Robert Matz. It's truly incredible. I put out an interview with John yesterday, but it's definitely going to bring a ray of sunshine into everyone's life. So thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting GameGrooves. And please, like I said, stay tuned for some exciting stuff within the next couple weeks. Talk to you later.